And now I will expand myself as I open myself now to be the vessel for that which was known as Isis, that which was known by 1,000 names, the Divine Goddess. There is so much that has been said here tonight. What will I say to you? What do I need to say to you when they have done such a beautiful job? And I am grateful that this has occurred in this manner, for it is those of you who walk among the earth that must speak. Those of you who walk among the earth that must know. And so I am grateful that there are not many more words that I need to say to you. But I will say to you that love is strong. Do not mistake love with weakness. For if you are acting in weakness and calling it love, I say to you that it is fear. Be truthful with yourself. When you are truly aligned with love, you do know yourself, as it has been said. You do know yourself, and you will choose for yourself. Some will not understand this vibration of love, and this is why I come to you today in my strength and my power, because I want each of you to grab down deep into that tailbone energy, that vibration of golden light that links you to the earth. In the meditation today, you have allowed that energy to move through you and down into the Mother Earth, out the tailbone. And it comes like a golden and silver stream. And I'm telling you today that this is the new hook. There is an ego that you speak of, and I call it the hook. For it is the vibration of the primitive self that hooked you to earth long enough to expand and explore the earth realm in that deep and low vibration where time and space was so groggy, and all of you were saying, oh, this is so slow, this is so slow. But you were afraid to move beyond this, and you were working and working and working, and I do give you thanks and gratitude as well for all that you have done. Now, there has been talk around the world about the ego, and I need to make very clear to you that we will bring the ego back into ourselves. We cannot separate this, for we are God, we are one. You cannot separate any part of yourself. But that ancient hook, as it was once necessary, that primitive hook, it looks like a rusty nail now, doesn't it? That primitive hook that you no longer really like is now flooded with this golden light that moves right down you and out your tailbone, through our Mother Earth and into the core. This will be your new hook. This will be your ego. This is your ego in its transformed state. This is the truth of who it is, who you are. And when you allow yourself with this golden light that we have spoken of today, and to allow that to move right into the center of the earth, you will not have to resist any part of yourself, and you can be in peace with what you choose. You will manifest quickly, and therefore the world and the universe and all these energies that are coming in now can support you in a very rapid way, because there is no need for the delay in this space. Because you are not making decisions that will be a struggle to you. You are not making decisions that are going to be maybe the not as easy lesson. And that's what happens when you say, well, I've been manifesting and manifesting and manifesting and it's not happening. It's because we're saying, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And when you are in this space, you can be sure. So expect it now. Don't look for 2012 or beyond. Look now, because all that the world is going to receive at that point, you are receiving now. It's already been done. So there's no need to look for the future, because it's already here and it's done, and you have walked through the portal. The portal, the stargate that they are speaking of, you have walked through today. Know it, feel it, believe it. And if you don't, that is okay. It is in you, and you will believe it in time. In your own words, in your own way. This is a vibration and knowing, a way of life. And I am so honored to be a part of this time. To be able to touch down to earth and to watch this occur. To look to the beautiful Magdalene and Jesu in the sky. To the gods and the goddesses that have come before you. That are you. Remember, We are one. And this brings me to another topic which I wish to speak on today. And remind you that more of you are afraid of your power than your weaknesses. More of you are afraid of the truth that you know that you are God and Goddess here on earth. More of you are afraid that you can manifest instantaneously. And all of you out there that are saying, I don't know if I believe this right now. You're saying that because you're afraid that you do believe this right now. That you may have the power right now in this moment to create the world that you desire. That you may not be a victim. That you may not be a martyr. That you may not need to go back and take on the burdens of others. That you may not need to continue the loop of karma and karma and karma until you remember. You're all at this point of being ready to remember, and your fear is that it might be true. Your fear is that life might be easy. Your fear is that you might be able to create, that you might be co-creator. And why do you fear this? Because no matter what your storyline is, no matter what your words are to describe it, no matter what you remember and what names you place on it, we are all one. We are all reflections of the oneness, and in this space, be it known that each one of you have a cellular memory of the beginning of creation, of the beginning of earth. Whether it is from tapping into the oneness, whether it is from past lives, whether it is from your lineage and ancestry of the blood, it does not matter how you remember it. Inside of your being, because you are one, because God is within you, you have a memory of a time when the earth was created. And I will go back and I will tell you about that time, and I will tell you how it is different now. In that time of instant manifestation, there was a time when there was expanded oneness, enchanted oneness, and we are all there now, yes, we are. But in this time we wanted to expand even more, we wanted to feel, we wanted to know. And so the enchanted oneness separated into Alpha and Omega, and then there were three. And then there were three. The oneness, the Alpha, and the Omega. And in that moment in time was the deepest love. Because just as you pull a baby from your chest and look into its eyes and see the love, just as you pull away from your lover's kiss to gaze upon each other's eyes, the vibration of oneness, Alpha and Omega, gazed into each other. In that very same moment, there were three. There was the oneness, and there was the Alpha and the Omega loving each other, and there was even the grief of the oneness now feeling separate and one at the same time. And that conflict has come from that beginning of time. And I say to you now that from that place it expanded more and more to those stories which have been written around the world of gods and goddesses, Isis and Osiris and Horus. That time, no matter where you are in the world, there are stories about the gods and the goddesses, the sky people. And in that time, as we expanded, we began to feel now the full spectrum of emotion, and we had instant manifestation, and we had power. And it became frightening when you said, I'm angry, and a whole forest was destroyed. And so we brought it further, and we expanded, and we created for ourselves that which is called time and space. And we created that so we could explore emotions without feeling the instant fear of watching that manifest. We wanted to move it further and further into the lower vibrations to give us time. We gave us time to learn, to examine. And when we look at this as an extended oneness, we have the cells dividing and expanding, but not separating. Look at the birth of a baby. Everything is written in the human race in the physical world that is of the sky. In the baby, the cells divide and they divide, but they create the one that was always inside of it. And so as these cells divided, we just created more beauty of our enchanted oneness. Every organ, every cell, every group of people, every world, every single soul, part of this oneness. So I say to you now, to avoid the fear, remember that we are not going back before time. We are linking now after having mastered time and no longer needing it. We are linking now back to the memory. And you do not have to separate heaven and earth. You can be in the expanded oneness, and at the same time you can draw your attention down to the cell that you are here on earth. And when you do the work of your cell, your individual human cell, and you bring harmony to yourself, just like the cells of a body harmonizing together, you harmonize the oneness, the organs, the self, the alpha, the omega, the enchanted oneness. And you have seen cancer around your world for so many days, so many days, so many days. You have explored it. But have you learned from it? Have you learned from the gift that these evolving cells have done? Have you learned that as you vibrate faster, as a human being, your vibration moves up, it adjusts the vibration of the whole, but you can harmonize once again with the whole? And as you go through and you do your personal work, and you raise your vibration and you feel your emotions, you are harmonizing once again. And each cell of your body can be asked and gifted and loved into that space for eternal youth. Yes, eternal youth. And each one of you as an individual can harmonize with the whole. And you can draw your attention to the oneness, the enchanted fullness. You can go there in meditation and knowing and dreams. And you can simply draw your attention back to the cell that you are, just as you look at your body down to the microscope of a cell. Here we are. And I have taught this before, and I will teach this again, for it is the only truth that we need to remember in this moment. It is our remembrance back. It is our gateway back to the stargate which creates heaven and earth. And creating heaven on earth is simply remembering that we were never separate, that heaven was never above us, and we were never below. It is all within every cell of our being, and we are the cells of the oneness. I join my hands with you, and I join my heart with you as we go forth as messengers. We will not always use our words. The greatest gift we can give to this world is to harmonize the cell that we are, the soul that we are here, with the enchanted oneness that is all. And in that space, others will harmonize too. And sometimes you will have words, and sometimes you will have paintings, and sometimes you will have songs, and sometimes you will just simply have emotions. But this is how you will speak to each other. And so it is. I give thanks to that one which has been known by many names, who I refer to as Isis. I give thanks to the enchanted oneness that has drawn forth the lessons that are meant for us today. I give thanks to each one of you who have opened your hearts to receive it in the way that is correct for you. And I ask that you open your minds and your hearts, and that as you continue to journey and to reflect back on this time, that you do this with an open heart, accepting that which resonates and simply allowing the rest to float on. I ask that you doubt and that you are a skeptic, that you question, but you not only question that which is unfamiliar with you, question that which is most familiar with you, for those are the things that are most needed to be questioned, those things that you have accepted from your parents, from the generations before you, that you have accepted as truth and not looked into, that it just is this way, that you have to work hard, that money is scarce, that you are out for yourself, that heaven is above you. Whatever those messages were, whatever those parts that you accepted with yourself before you were ready to understand, to remember, those stories about yourself even, And so now we bring you back into the remembrance of your garden that you have sat in for such a beautiful time. And as you sit in your garden, return back to that body of water where you looked in as a mirror. And this time I ask that you look in as your physical self. See who you are today, now, in this lifetime. And as you look at yourself, see those parts of you that you have believed about yourself, whether it's your physical attribute or your personality. There's things that you have just said are mine, this is who I am, and you never questioned. And if they support you, welcome them and bless them deep into your heart. And if they get in the way of being who you want to be, simply cup your hands and wash them away with the water. For there is no need to accept anything that doesn't resonate in perfection with your heart.